Okay, welcome back everybody to Graduate Aspire 2020. We are virtual. For those of you joining us for the very first time today, my name is Ben Ibrahim, your friendly virtual host, and for the very first time, the first virtual host of Graduate Aspire in the history of this wonderful event. But our topic right now is digital talent management. We have four wise gentlemen who's going to talk about this topic and get to give us the meat of it. I'm just going to introduce our speakers. On to my far right, the man from Nestlé, Shazad Umar, Head of Human Resources, Nestlé Malaysia. He began his career as a management trainee with Nestlé Pakistan in 2001, and then after that, holding several managerial posts in human resource. Now, Shazad is a very interesting guy, a very nice guy. He is a trained engineer. So he's not a trained HR person. So he's from the line, as they say, and he holds an MBA from the University of Nottingham and a mechanical engineering degree from the University of Engineering and Technology in Lahore, Pakistan. So Shazad from Nestlé Malaysia, welcome. And then the man right next to him, who is holding his mouth because he's got so much to share right now, all the time. Really nice guy, an inspirational person to speak to as this panel is Mr. Chen Fong Tuan, also known as FT. And the joke that I have with FT over the years is FT does not stand for financial transaction. Okay, so FT is the Human Resources and General Affairs Director at Samsung Malaysia. FT has been responsible for end-to-end people operations as part of the country's executive team, providing strategic and tactical input to drive business goal. He's been a senior HR leader with many great companies like Maybank and Coca-Cola. And just like Shazad, he's a qualified engineer. So something about engineering and HR, okay? And then next to FT is Mr. Lim Chi Gay, Executive Vice President, Group HR, TDCX, a seasoned C-level HR professional with over 24 years of experience in HR, manufacturing, IT, supply chain, and managing teams, not just in Malaysia, but in the US, Europe, and Asia Pacific as well. So very much a global talent, just like our panel here is today. And his key focus areas include global board level HR transformation, building best workplace practices, and developing leadership excellence, because he is a firm believer that leaders should be accountable to drive people for outcomes. So thank you very much, Jige, for that. And last but not least, the ever smiling, the ever happy, the ever dapper and dashing Farid Basir, Chief Human Capital Officer of the one and only Telekom Malaysia. Farid comes with a wealth of experience from various industries. During his career, Farid has taken on assignments in Switzerland, South Africa, the Philippines, before returning home to Malaysia in 2014. So he's been an expatriate before, like a lot of our guys here have today. He graduated with a Bachelor of Business Studies, HR, and completed business leadership programs by Cambridge Business School, Oxford Business School, INSEAD, and IMD. So very much a learned person, not just in the workplace, but in the academic arena as well. Gentlemen, welcome to our topic right here, right now. And I'm just going to start with you, Shazad. This is a generic question for all our panel. In terms of, let's start with tech. Regardless of what industry we're in, tech seems to be the key word. What are some of the top tech trends in talent management HR?
Thanks, Ben. Really glad and honored to be here with such a great crowd around us. I'll speak more about Nestlé. For us, what we are doing from an HR standpoint on talent management is trying to automate or digitalize the overall end-to-end suite of offerings that we have in HR. So just to give an example, the whole process where we connect, source, and onboard people is now automated. We have chat robots inside. There's a lot of analytics, predictive and descriptive analytics that are run. There are a lot of AI-based learning solutions which are there. There's a lot of psychometrics, which is also machine learning-based. A lot of tools that help us collaborate online in a digital space, and also think online on how to create an innovation culture. So a lot of tools, a lot of technology, a lot of ways of how we can leverage on the evolution of how talent management is evolving around us.
Nice, Shazad. Good answer. Farid?
Thanks, Ben. Good to know. and good to see all the audience. Technology has embedded itself in how a company recruits and manage its talent. Talent leaders like all of us now have a variety of cutting edge tools like data analytics and AI to help the employees as well as the candidate experience, managing our workforce, as well as recruit the right talent. Now, I would say there are six trends to see in HR technology as we turn the calendar to 2021. What are the six HR top tech? For me, the self-service technology, ESS and MSS, AI. Third, specialized tech skills required, and then followed by HCM solution and work redesign, and finally data analytics as well as data privacy. These are the six top trends that I'm looking at. Thank you, Ben.
And Chige?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you all here. So just to add on what Saizat and Farid have mentioned, before I go into additional comments, the question that I pose to most of you will be, what is your level of digitize yourself in the today digital platform in terms of your skill, your capability, and also your brand? That's one. So maybe that's one thing that, and maybe at the end of the day, what you need to do to improve that. The second thing is how much time you spend on understanding jobs, company in your social media interface. I'm not talking about you spending on Facebook and getting your friends news, but it's more about how much you spend seeking for job, or how much you spend to understand company's culture. So going back to that, the reason I say that is because companies like TDCX are managed globally. We are present in 10 locations, and Malaysia doing quite well, even in these pandemics. And for sure, in just like what Farid and also Sazat had mentioned, all companies are digitizing our HR processes. And the trends that has moved today, and even to speed it up, is that all the interface with candidates and employee are digitized. That's number one. And of course, there's still a human being, but a human intervention, a human touch. But then the interface is even speed up in that area. The second one is that we know more data, more information about our workforce and about candidates. So the question is that, do company know about you? The third one, we see that more jobs are digitized jobs. And also we notice that we require people to have a digitized skill. For example, when you involve in interview in TDCX, a first level interview is that you will need to talk to the machine. You need to talk to the online assessment or online behavior interview. It's all recorded. Are you familiar with that interface? So I just want to bring out that it will be the trend as we move into in right now and even in the near future.
No, very interesting sharing right there. FG, we know you're passionate about tech.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ben. Well, it's always good to go last because I can always say everything has been spoken already, particularly from
No.
He mentioned six already, all six. Okay, probably, it's, I think this is a cliche. Nobody has mentioned it because it's probably not as sexy as some of the analytics, AI stuff. But I think the top tech that is taking over now that will dominate in the next couple of years, definitely the next 6 months or so, is remote collaboration. Zoom, for example, right? The advancement in Zoom technology that one collaborative tool, they have probably moved 5 years in terms of advancement. I know Dato' Nora was talking about Satya Nadella saying that it moved 2 years. I think in collaborative platforms, technology has moved 5 years. It is so easy, everything it is available. But probably for me, instead of talking about what the tech trends in talent management, I think the danger is the risk in the tech trends in talent management or HR. The divide between the digital haves and the digital have-nots is becoming more apparent right now, because not everyone is accessible or has the same access to broadband in the same way, in the same manner. I think that is something that the trend going forward is, how do we close this divide in terms of the digital haves and the digital have-nots from a skill perspective, mindset perspective, from a infra perspective. So this is probably second. And third, we talk about AI and bots all the time. AI and bots, it's happening. Is it getting more pronounced in the post-COVID? I don't think so. I think AI and bots have been there and will continue to be there. But I think it is the way we use AI and bots that's more important going forward. So the third one is actually the trend that I see is the extent or the skill or capability of using AI and bots in an integrated manner that matters. It's not the tool that matters. It is, again, a cliche again, how we use those tools and what is our attitude towards those tools. So I think, you will hear me bringing us back to this particular topic pretty often. As soon as you ask me anything about tools, I would say it is not the tools that matter. It is the skill and capability and the mindset that matters. So I'm sure you're going to ask me about tools later, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to always call that about the intangibles. So probably later we'll speak about how do we make the intangible tangible from a very objective recruitment point of view. But great start, everyone. I mean, I know I'm sorry to just delve into the topic because I'm just wary of time. I mean, no time to even say hi, good morning, and smile, but you all are smiling, which is very, very good. I'll start with you, Farid, for this next question. Question number 2. I mean, the whole topic, why digital talent management is the way forward. I mean, some people will say that's a no-brainer, but some people say, hey, that's a bit insensitive to say that because not everybody is so tech savvy. What's your view, Farid?
Now, I would like to focus on the audience because I believe most of the audience that we have today are the millennials. So it's good for me to remember the fundamental of any conversation like this is who are in front of us. So in front of us now, these are aspiring future leaders of Malaysia. They are millennials. And let's talk about millennials and technology. I have 2 millennials. I have 2 daughters, Aina and Aisha. One have just graduated. So we know that the millennials were born into the tech age between 81 and 1996. They are digital native. I can swear that they are the hardest generation compared to Gen X or baby boomers. To engage, and employers need to keep up with technological advancement and provide the latest digital tool that may engage them better. Now, first and foremost, companies like us, we should tap into millennial intrinsic desire for personal fulfillment and a sense of purpose. Millennials value product less than meaningful experiences. They are more idealistic rather than pragmatic. They continuously searching for personal fulfillment rather than just a job, and they don't tolerate subpar experiences from brands delivering customer experience to employer delivering employee experience. Now, for TM, what we have done, we have conducted the first HR hackathon. We believe the first in Malaysia in terms of HR hackathon. It was a 24 hours event. We conducted it at KL Tower during the New Year. And that's how we got a free access to celebrate New Year, where most of the participants are millennial. And we realized that socially engaging experience, real-time feedback, and mobile access positively impact engagement with millennial. We also found that attracting and hiring talent is only the start of establishing a positive employee experience. Employers like us must first make employee experience a priority, especially among millennials, where they're apt to job hopping when they feel underutilized. Thanks, man.
Nice. Shazad?
Again, it's difficult to follow and Farid. But like you said, millennials are the source of energy for any company. So similarly for us in Nestle as well, is how about, you create that culture like what FD was saying, it's not just the tools, and as the saying goes, it's not the gun, it's the man behind the gun. So how do you create that culture? Technology, even if you go back 100 years ago, whatever technology was there, adoption was always a challenge. There is this natural human reluctance to adopt a tool or a gadget. So that's about how you create a culture, how you instill a language, how you inculcate this in your day-to-day behaviors. And I think millennials lead the way. They were the digital natives of this whole era. They are more tech savvy than some of us. I raise my hand there. And they help us create this wave or this momentum inside the organization.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna go to FT and then I'm going to go with Chige, and then after that, Chige, you will start also the next question as well. So, FT, your views on this?
Okay, the question was why digital talent management is the way forward.
Why that way and that way forward?
Correct. Let me reframe that statement. I don't think it is so much digital, but more technology. Now, digital is not technology. It's not only, right? Not all technology is digital. So we need to be careful when we say digital talent or digital human. It is almost saying going forward, we need to dehumanize to be successful, which is untrue. Yeah, I think we need to be even more human to be successful. Whilst I believe technology will free us from the mundane, repetitive tasks and provide check and balances to our very innate human biases, because it equips us with insights from the mountains of data, the way forward is not only just digital, but balancing digital and analog. We are analog. Both Shazad and I are engineers, so we may not be as tech savvy as the millennials, but I think we get by. But there are certain things in life that cannot be digital. If you ask me, talent management being the top echelon of human performance talent, and we treat them as commoditized 1 or 0. Human beings are not binary. We are not 1 or 0. So the whole concept of digitalizing human beings, it's not too compelling for me in terms of whether that is a proper business case or not. I think alternatively is we have to find ways to harness the appropriate technology for the right purpose, deploy and perpetually improving the technology so that we can use them in the right way, and integrating technology into the natural flow of business, but not replacing it. So, as I mentioned to you, I'll keep coming back to this point.
No, it's good. It's a familiarity, which is a good thing for our viewers. Chige?
Yeah. So I guess most of them already cover all the key points. And I just want to maybe focus on today's audience at this career fair, right? Mainly on the job, your brand, and your mindset in seeking job and opportunity. And before that, as most of the panelists have mentioned, that from a company perspective, every company are digitizing their talent management, whether from how we attract candidates, people like you, how we retain our employee, how we develop our people. We are moving to a lot of digitized. And like what also FT mentioned, that when we say we are digitized, it doesn't mean that every single things are all digitized. There's still a human touch. There's still a social interface that's required. Just give you an example, in the last 6 months, we invested heavily in the technology. We implement 4 additional digital platforms in the area of engagement, in the area of learning, and also in the area of attracting talent. So what I'm trying to say here is that I just give you my story. I have a daughter just joined Imperial first year. And before she joined Imperial, she have gaps of 6 months. And during the 6 months, she actually have 3 internships with Maybank, with Unilever, and with another consultant firm in Australia. So all these 3 are all interviewed and also get engaged through virtual. She involved in learning a lot of things like Python, and even stock market investment. It's all through e-learning. So what I'm trying to say here in today's millennium, the learning, the digitization today have bring you all to the next level. You're taking the opportunity. It's not the days of my years that we don't have all digital platform. We only have one. The company is the one that trains us, or we go to universities that we get all this education. But today learning has and knowledge is digitized. And are you all having a digital mindset? So that's a question that I raised it again to you all in my second, what we call engagement with you all, is that how much of the time that today that you are engaged in the social digital media, and how much you have to do with understanding culture, understanding, get to know more knowledge, get to know more jobs, get to know more companies. How much of your time, or a lot of time, I'm sure millennials, you all are involved in interface with social media, but are you all just spending all your time in TikTok or all the time in Facebook? How much time you do spend in learning? How much time you do spend in getting to know companies? Okay, even in these four companies, do you know Nestlé well? Do you know Samsung well? Do you know Telecom well? Or even TDCX well? What are the culture? Are you fit into your culture? So those are the things that you all need to think about. And I hope that this is, for those who attend, this is something that I just want to bring out to you all and just have self-reflection on this area.
That's really good in terms of TikTok. That's the one that's really dominating the tech conversations these days, regardless what generation you're from. But has the pandemic influenced the way your company uses technology and talent management, Chige?
Yeah, very good question. Just follow up from my question. Remember, I mentioned that we are invested heavily right now in the technology platform. We have, and as most of you have known, that technology drives a lot of innovation. And I remember that even 20 years ago, I used to run manufacturing. And at that time, it's already on smart manufacturing. And AI is already introduced in manufacturing, and automation already introduced in manufacturing. And this has come over the years into services, into HR. So I'm trying to say that technology will keep driving the way to go. And definitely they have an impact to our talent management. And again, we are invested in four. I'm not going to spend so much time on how do we engage and how we do develop our employee, and we do a lot, and that's on the engagement, and that's a question that's been asked. But I'd like to spend more about how do we attract talent into the company, because that is where most of you are either listening for to seek for the job or opportunity. So we have four tools, right? We invest in much more in the job portals. For example, we have 32 job portals, and we are investing another 2 job portals in the last 2 months. So can you imagine how much job portals? So the question is that, are you in the job portals today? Are you having your resume in the job portals today? I asked my daughter to make sure that she has a LinkedIn profile, and she has. And right now, even the first year university, she has a follower of almost 500 followers. So I'm just giving you an example, and just because I'm able to educate and tell her the importance of it. But for the rest of you, I'll always say, how much time of you have you digitized? Because when we look into today, the way we hire, we are not only looking into getting resume people that we know. I have recently a few of my ex-staff or even friends. Chige, I just submitted my resume. Can you help me to find a job? And I actually don't know that they have submitted their resume or apply the jobs in my company. I don't know until they inform me. But what more important is that how your name is actually going to be matched with a job, because it's going to be run by the machine. So in other words, how you digitize your profile, okay? And previously, last time we said the first impression is good, which is true when you come to interview in the old days. But today is not so much of the first impression. It's about how well are you that you digitize your profile, because the machine will match your key information, right? The machine will match, of course, your skill, your capability. Dr. Nora, this monitor about what uniqueness that you bring to the table. What are the uniqueness that you have in a profile? That's going to be also very key. It's not as key in a fresh graduate. It will be even key when you have experience, because everyone have experience. What are the uniqueness that you bring to the table? Okay. that is definitely going to be very, very, very key. It's because the machine is going to match our job based on the job expectation, and if you miss some of them, and we don't ask you to key every single thing, but be precise and to be able to describe about yourself is going to be very, very key. And ability to digitize yourself in a digital world is going to be very, very important. And today, we invest a lot in the recruitment because we do a lot of hiring. I have 1,000 positions to be filled out globally. And all of that, I just want to let you know, I'm attending 2 crisis meetings because the site cannot fill out the positions. Can you imagine we have people who can't find a job, at the same time employers are struggling to find candidates? Okay, so what, and are you having yourself into all our job portals? So that's one question, right? So one transit, and I just want to also make sure that today we are transformed the way we digitize. Our first level is a lot to do with job matching to your resume. The machine will do that. The machine will send out the email and asking you to answer a few questions, behavior questions, a few behavior questions that pertaining for whether you have, for example, whether you have a growth mindset, whether you are pretty much have, let's say, for example, have a mindset of focus on a result output, for example, uh, and whether you have example to tell us about how well in terms of how you meet certain job or how do you meet certain tasks that was given to you. Because in today's environment, as more and more work from home, we definitely need a DNA of discipline or self-motivation in the whole mindset. So what I'm trying to say here is that are you familiar yourself in those areas? Because this is how the technology today and enable employer to find candidates much easier. And we know candidate much more today. And a lot of time, we also find many candidates who are good candidates, but they do not know how to, what we call, put that into their profile. And that's the reason why it makes our employer much more work to do. And that is a pool that actually we do not want to ignore. And that's why it takes additional work for us, for those who have been rejected. We take another round to go and review that. But what I'm trying to say here is that just because we do that, it doesn't mean that we will be doing that in the years to come. So what is more important, as I put it on the table to all of you, is that how much time that you spend to make sure that you really digitize yourself. How much time do you try to understand the culture of the company? And we spend also a lot of time to digitize our culture and make sure that our employer branding are into the social media. Not only right now in LinkedIn, but we know that Facebook, we know Instagram is where the millennials are right now, and also in TikTok. So we know that TikTok, although the group of TikTok right now is still at the age below 20, but we believe that that will change. So what I'm trying to say here is that as an employer, we know that we have no choice. We also need to get in touch with millennials, but we also want millennials to know what employers are doing so that you can match. And that will make our job easier because we really want to find good talent like you all into the company. And this is where I'm here to just want to share with you something that you can do as we are, as technology change the way we hire, as technology change the way we retain our employee and we train our people. Okay, Ben, back to you. I think I talked too much.
Thanks. No, really good points that you shared with us there that has given us some very strong food for thought in terms of how to improve systems and structures. But Shazad, can you share with us some of the ways, Nestlé, technology is being used in talent management within Nestlé to propel the talent needs of the company and industry, really?
Yeah, I briefly alluded to it. I think in Nestle, our approach towards digitalizing any process is all about experimentation. So we're doing a lot of experimentation on the overall end-to-end spectrum of what HR has to offer. So on talent management, I briefly mentioned this whole sphere of connect, source, and onboard. We have automated it. We're leveraging on AI, on people analytics. We work with a startup here in KL called Pulsify. Across other Nestle markets, there are a lot of projects or a lot of initiatives which are also being run. A lot of work happening on learning as we speak. And going back to your previous question, COVID is the biggest accelerator that is, transforming the workplace. I can honestly tell you, till 7 months ago, I was not aware of what Zoom is. And now most of our time is spent on Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and all of that. So technology is there. In the current context is pushing us to do more and more of experimentation. And in Nestlé, that's our mindset. See a tool that can work for you. Don't just join the bandwagon. Just see what can work for you, what can fit in your culture, and just stick with it and persevere. There's a lot of vendor hopping that happens in tech sphere, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Stick with a tool that you have put into your culture and see if it can give you those benefits. So a lot of experimentation in a simple answer to your question, Ben.
Experimentation to lead to consistency. So that's a very good point. In that point, Farid, I mean, Shazad spoke about using the right digital tools to get consistency. How about using digital tools to improve your employees' digital skill set, and how important it is, especially in today's workplace? Like you all said today, we didn't know what Zoom was once upon a time. We didn't know what TikTok is. All we know is WhatsApp. But now WhatsApp is so common. It's more of a news portal. And, we need to embrace the new tech platforms that are here and more to come. So what's your view, Farid?
Thanks. Thanks, Ben. For TM is also a digital company. Let me give you the context and complexity of Telekom Malaysia. We have more than 32,000 in our talent ecosystem, and with more than 700 work sites. If we take the space almost 1 million square feet, equivalent to half of Monaco. So just the perspective of telecom in Malaysia itself. Now, our aspiration is all about turning workplaces into places where all employees can thrive. And we has an in-house mobile app called Era. It is a single mobile app where we aspire to build culture, to drive engagement, and connect the dots to a single employee facing touch point that our employee will love. Yeah. Now, during COVID-19, one of our challenge was we just introduced career conversation, because as an employee, as an individuals, it is our aspiration that we want to better understand our strengths and weaknesses while learning new skills, developing ourselves, and turning into a better version of ourselves without losing our own authenticity. And this is where our in-house mobile app Era really helps, and this is built in-house. So the good thing about when you build it in-house, because you have the capability to do that, you're able to accelerate the implementation as well as the customization. Now, having said that, I always love FT words about not only digital, but let's talk about technology. We know that technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. Technology is not perfect, it's just a tool. There is no glory of using technology like AI, data analytics, or quantum computing. If we use it to find faults of our employees, our glory lies in using tech for embracing all, generating love and happiness, and nurturing and developing talent like all of you, our future leaders. And misuse of or abuse of technology is not a technological problem. It is a social problem, actually. My greatest fear is not the abuse of technology, but that we do not use it at all. Thanks, Ben.
Ben, are you on mute? I can't hear you.
Sorry, it's my turn to make that mistake, okay? So the host is allowed to make one mistake, so that's my one mistake. So Farid, you spoke about earlier, thanks for your answer, by the way. You spoke about earlier about, this generation, they're very difficult to change. They want something tangible rather than an experience. And I'm going to get Fong Tuan to expand on that. And FT, the biggest driving force behind the future of tech will be the millennials in Gen Z in the workplace who expect mobile and value experiences. I mean, they love the phone. They're just glued to it. It's almost like their boyfriend, girlfriend, or best friend. Can you share with us and our audience how this has changed the way your department views tools in talent management?
Okay, I think I haven't even mentioned Samsung even once. Most of others have mentioned Nestlé and TDCX and TM. So, well, as you all know, Samsung is a technology company. So it is, to us, it is not whether you're millennial, you're Gen Z, everyone is immersed in technology, which is why I want to clarify very quickly that digital is not technology, technology not digital, it's two separate things. If you ask me whether millennials and Gen Z are the driver of technology, I don't think so. I think now the greatest driver of technology is a very microscopic virus called COVID-19. That is the #1 driver of advancement in technology. I couldn't agree more with Farid earlier that the abuse is a danger. Don't know how to use it at all, or not using it at all is even worse. So I think the question is, how do we engage millennials, and how do millennials and Gen Z wants to be engaged? They use mobile phones. They have 3 to 4 devices anywhere, anytime. It's not like the boyfriend, it's probably the boyfriend and the girlfriend, selfies and everything else. And they communicate through that, right? Their entire life is a device. And this is a new reality that HR and any other businesses, not only HR, all businesses need to embrace, need to adapt, and need to change the way we do business. Supply chains and everything else need to change. The people who are, and the audience who is listening in, are all digital natives. They're not even called digital natives. They are just born. They're not even native. They are just, that's the only thing they know, right? The fact that you are watching TV on the TV is alien to them, because they don't watch TV on TV. They watch TV on small devices anywhere. So the entire definition of how we engage is changing and will continue to change. And we have to adapt to it. So Zoom, device, broadband, 5G. I think a lot of our viewers here have no idea what previously, when there is no 4G, 3G, 2G, 1G, GPRS. I mean, that four, I mean, I think some of us here still remember GPRS, GSM. It's something that those alphabets people don't know. But the new, my kid, for example, and all our new colleagues, young colleagues coming out, they expect instantaneous. They expect everything to be now. They expect when I need information, it is already there. If I want to collaborate, it's just a call away. If I want to know certain thing, I can just put into a device and something just come out. If I want to buy something, I don't need to go to a store to get it. I'll just go online and I'll get it the next day. And if you pay enough, you get it in the next hour. So all these are changing, and it is changing fast. So has it changed the way my department, my company view technology? Absolutely. I think the question is, how fast can we adapt? How fast can we change the way we think, the way we do work, so that we can actually adopt some of this technology quickly that makes sense to our staff, makes sense to our customers.
Nice. FT, I'm going to stick with you on your final question, and then I'm going to ask 3 more questions. I mean, one each to each of our speakers, in terms of the human side of resumes and filtering. And to our panel, you're going extremely well today, by the way, but if you can just keep it tighter, because the questions are keep coming in thick and fast, and I'm just trying to accommodate our viewers, who are the most important people, really. So apologies about that. But FT, what about, I mean, we spoke about it earlier, AI, and how that's contributed to your department's functions.
Okay. I'll keep it tight since, I know Ben is going for the next one. You have another one coming out in 10 minutes. So I'll do it in 1 minute. AI is imbued across all our platforms in Samsung. We have our own bots. We have Bixby, which is our mobile AI assistant, which incidentally is, if you hold a Samsung phone, it is available in your mobile as well. Our chatbots, we have two chatbots called Mobi and CIS. One is to facilitate internal processes. Another one is for customer solutioning. But let me bring it down to HR. I choose one of it. I choose learning, okay? Because AI cuts across all processes, like what Shazad mentioned earlier, from acquisition, attraction, right down to, across all the processes. Let me give you an example of how AI is used in our learning, yeah? Assuming that you are a salesperson and you book a appointment to see a customer, a new customer, totally new, you have no idea who this person is, first time, it's a business development pitch, and you book a time to meet that person somewhere. Assuming everything is fine, you have to actually physically go to the office, right? When the pandemic is all done. The AI engine, the learning bot, will, number one, trigger a profile of the person you'll be meeting, because they will mine all this data from the public space and give it to you so that you know who you'll be meeting with some profile. Secondly, they will remind you of your spec sheets. Third, they will send you a tip sheet about how to do a successful pitch. And fourthly, the bot actually will book a Grab for you 1 hour before you get there, depending on the traffic, because they can check from Grab and from Waze as well. So this is what I mean by how AI is helping. But AI doesn't sell the thing to you. Technology doesn't help you sell to the person. You still got to do it yourself. But technology will help you make the sale more probable, to make you get there safely, to make you get there on time, to ensure that you're equipped to do the pitch. But it does not help you get the deal done. So that's what I mean by now contextualizing what I mentioned earlier. Is technology is a tool. You use it wisely, you use it intelligently, it definitely will help you to be more productive, to be more effective. So that is my, I think, a minute and a half.
Not bad, 90 seconds. Shazad, I'll ask you this question about the impacts of technology that we'll have on HR, on how this will influence job opportunities as well as career advancement. What's your advice for today's talent on how to best utilize these tools? Because I think the whole panel has alluded to it, not in so many words. Yes, you can use tech to filter it. They're a good candidate, not so good candidate, candidate that needs work. But at the end of the day, you need that human interaction to elaborate that human feeling if this person is a hard worker, driver, whatever you want to call it. Your view, Shazad.
Yeah, sorry, I was kicked out for a bit from the session.
Okay. That's the world of Zoom that we live in.
Yeah, exactly. So I agree with what FT was saying earlier. I come from an era when I was graduating, there were still job boards or job newspapers that you have to look at to find out where the vacancies are. And then came, all these, social media, the LinkedIns, and now they're talking of marketplace. So the way technology is evolving, the change will continue to happen at a very much brisk or fast pace in the working sphere, is to just stay abreast with what is happening out there, read about it, learn about it. If you want to do certifications, by all means do it. So try to learn the skills and master the tools so that you stay abreast with what is happening around you. Whatever works today might not be there altogether in a few years' time, but whatever new things will come up, we should be agile enough and intuitive enough to work with whatever new shape technology will take. So that would be my 2 cents here.
That's very good, Shazad. Really good views. Farid, question for you, and then the last question will be with Chige. But Farid, talent management is all about, like I said, it's all about human interaction. We want to see each other. We don't want to see each other on FaceTime. We don't want to see each other on WhatsApp video. I mean, how do you combine these two, tech and face-to-face interactions, for the best fair results? Because unfortunately, I've never met some of you face-to-face, but I feel like I know you because I've written your profile so many times. So again, that human interaction. Farid?
Thanks, Ben. We expect more from technology and less from each other. That's the challenge. And I want to share, I want to share the story about my mother. That's one time we had a conversation together with her grandchildren, and we talk about cyberbullying. And then she asked us, "Oh, what is cyberbullying?" And then said that, and then she asked, "Is there anybody get hit?" We say no. Anybody get injured? No. Then what is cyberbullying? Then we say that we say that it is bully in internet. Then she said a very pertinent response. She said that then just disconnect from internet. So social media can be a great tool for helping people re-engage with friends, and in fact, it is used widely with people with social phobia. Yeah, I always want to remind myself that I'm always more satisfied by human interaction, as you mentioned, than by a digital connection. Digital communication, the tech interaction is completely different from in-person, face-to-face conversation. One will give you surface insights, and the other really give you depth. Human beings, we are social creatures. We are social not just in the trivial sense that we like company, and not just in the obvious sense that we each depend on others. We are social in a more elemental way. Simply to exist as a normal human being requires interaction with other people. Now, this is a reminder to myself. We can bring positive energy into our daily life by smiling more, talking to strangers, replacing handshake hugs with likes on the Facebook or Instagram, or just call our friends just to tell them that we love them. That's from me, Ben.
That's a very warm way to finish it, which thank you so much for that, Farid. Now I know, I mean, with that statement, you're going to have more friends today. So I'll make more friends. But Chige, final word with you. I mean, in terms of the question, some companies use technology to filter out resumes during recruitment. I mean, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because it's very mechanical, no pun intended. I mean, like if it doesn't pick up the keywords of the skill set, then that resume could be filtered out. But you might be a lost opportunity right there in terms of getting a good talent. What's your view on that?
Yeah. So I always mention that we will definitely use technology and human, right? Human wisdom in making the decision. So we do use technology today in filter out the resume because that will help on productivity and also the speed for us to hire. That's number one, right? So, however, we do know that the technology is not perfect. And that's why I just mentioned earlier that there always a fallout. During the fallout, we would have a human intervention just to review if we can pick up any of the resume that is able to meet the job expectation that we will actually follow up. But technology will actually help us to speed up our recruitment, and also we always short of HR team members, right? When we come to growth, even today we don't have enough recruiters as we are growing. So definitely technology help us to fill those things. So I remember like what Faizat or even Funko I mentioned in my years, 20 years ago, when I first graduated, we always look at newspaper for job advertisement, and that by itself goes away. And today we attend face-to-face. That was the only channel of face-to-face interviews. I remember you need to attend and you need to go to the company 3 times or 4 times for the interviews. And that's all face-to-face. And I remember when I was in the earliest years as a manager looking for talent from overseas. We use AT&T conference, and to have AT&T conference, I need to book a company that have an AT&T conference and invite the candidate to go and into those the vendor company and have the conference interview. Can you imagine the time to arrange that interview alone? It's going to take my whole day just to arrange an interview. But today, the technology helps us so easy. It's in front of us. It's the same thing like today. Can you imagine that we can have a virtual career fair, and so in front of laptop, we don't need to have AT&T or Range or for me to go to one of the location to do this call. And I'd like to congratulate GRADUAN, right? So that the show should go on, and that's going to be the way rather than just face-to-face, what we call a career fair. So COVID-19 have actually do limit our sourcing. So and because of that, the virtual career fair, the job portals we actually became one of the interface for us to talk for our candidate. So it's very, very important. All of you out there, whether you like it or not, you need to put yourself into the social media, into the job portal, attending the virtual career fair, because that is going to be there for a few years before we are back, that we can become the face-to-face interface. The university recruitment is also getting less. It's a lot of them right now is virtual. And today, when I talk about interviews, everything, as I mentioned, we have a recruitment tools, all the profiles. So you have to get to know that. I hope that all of you do have crowd folder, right? That's where you can easily attach the resume when you submit your profile, when you apply a job. The other thing is that you need to get to know about collaboration tools much more. This year alone, I get to know about Microsoft Teams and Zoom. But before that, we have been using like Hangout or even like Blue Jeans or WebEx. But now that we have more tools, but you need to get to know them, and you need to know how to use it, and even how to fix it when in between you have an interruption, like just now. Right. Okay, and how do you make sure that whatever you say it get recorded? That's another thing, right? So these are all the things that it become part of the skill that you need to comprehend into your overall engagement. And again, I just want to let you all know, in your resume, just make sure that you have a key point. Like for example, if you look today, if we are looking for, we are hiring for digital marketing consultant, and we want to have even fresh grad, do they know Google Ads, for example, or do they have any media experience? All these keywords is needed to be in the resume, because the technology or the machine will pick up all these keywords and match to the job, your job profile to our job application or job descriptions. And sometimes some of the job do have academic qualification. So if an academic qualification are engineering degree or financial degree or certain professional qualification, do put it there, because we do search for all this information. And if you do well in your CGPA, by all means, right, you should put it there, because certain job like management training, we do look at some of the cut-off. Not because academic is the only selection, but it's one of the filter criteria. A certain area, we only look at certain university, and university is also key, right? Because when we are looking at, especially in Thailand, right, we know that there's only certain university can speak a good English, so we are just looking for those university alone. Just want to call it out. So I just want to sum it up that resume, for you to make sure that you know how to write a good resume into the digital economy and digital world is needed. And for us at the company, we do use all the matching technology to match a resume and job description, but we do have a human intervention just to make sure that talented people like you, or some of you who don't good in that, is not just a fall off, but we will call you out, but we don't want you to be in that space category. Okay, Vance, back to you. Oh, Vance, you're on mute.
Mistake number 2, my friend. Ben.
We can't hear you.
Someone's pressing mute and
That
someone's
was
playing tricks.
that was number 2. I told you.
Buy that person nasi lemak after this. Okay, but yeah, the prep. So basically, what I was saying earlier while mute was stalling me is just I'm going to ask you one final question. While you think about the answer to that question, I'm just going to make a housekeeping announcement to everybody, and then after that, you just give me the answer. So a one hashtag word answer to summarize digital talent management. One word only, yeah, not 2 words, okay? Work hard is 2 words, okay? So 1 word only. So to all our viewers, we do apologize that we can't take the question. We are very short on time, but people here at GRADUAN ASPIRE will take it offline and then connect you with the speakers to answer the questions by email, okay? So that much we can try our best, and our panel are very friendly. So, Shazad, 1 word answer, and you can press the mute button first.
Learn.
All right?
Learn.
Okay. That's good, man. Farid.
Positive. Positive.
Positive.
Hashtag.
Positive hashtag. We're going well here. FT.
Balance.
What's that?
Balance.
Oh, I thought you said strike balance. So I was like,
balance.
Strike.
1 word.
Okay, balance. We're going well. And Chige.
Adapt. Since
okay, everyone. So that is the 4 words: learn, positive, balance, and adapt. How to sum up digital talent management. On behalf of GRADUAN ASPIRE, gentlemen, Chige, FT, Shazad, Farid, thank you so much for your time. And be safe and be good, and be smiling, which you guys always are. And we'll catch up very soon. And you can take a photo there, Chige. All right.
Taken.
Take care, guys.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
All the best.
Well done,
Stay
guys.
safe.
Thank you, Adam. Nice to see you.